Hey, welcome back, guys. Welcome back to part number 3 of Flying Podcast from Miami to Boston. Miami International, from Miami International to Boston Logan Airport. As you can see, we have encountered some clouds, some storms across the ocean as we are flying through these clouds. Things are getting a bit more interesting here, but that's okay. It makes for interesting, entertaining podcast as well. On the part number 2, we talked about many different topics. We talked about George Carlin. We talked about entrepreneurs. We talked a little bit about the Freemasons and other topics as well. And we'll continue to do the same thing here on part number 3. Please do leave a feedback. Let me know what you think. Do you guys enjoy this? Do you find it interesting? Your feedback, it's very much appreciated. These videos have a life of its own. It's like a time capsule. Just because people don't see it right away, maybe they'll see it and find it 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, right? Doesn't matter how long it takes, but eventually people will find out about this video or the other video, and maybe you'll watch this and maybe you'll enjoy it. I don't know if I'm still going to be, doing YouTube 5 years from now, but either way, think of it like a time capsule. These videos are like a time capsule. They have a life of its own. So we are now approaching, approaching North Carolina. We should be getting closer to Virginia, coast of Virginia. And then after that, we'll be approaching Delaware, Philadelphia, and then New York. And after New York, Long Island, will be going to Boston. And that's where we're going to make our final approach to land. As I talk about it previously, the landing is one of the hardest things for me personally when it comes to flight simulator. It's just something that I find very difficult. It takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of planning to get a proper landing. I have landed before, but it was never done in a way that was pleasable or plausible, at least to me. It felt like kind of crooked landing, and I want to make sure that I land properly. But we still got a long way to go till we approach Boston. Like I said, we talked about many different things in our topic. Previously, we talked about entrepreneurs. Like I said, I'm not a fan of entrepreneurs because they're really not there to help you. They're just there to help themselves, and I already talked about that. All right, let's switch the gears. Let's talk about the UFO. The UFO subject. It's been on the news. They've been talking about it every day. You got CNN, you got Fox News, you got NBC, you got every news station talking about it. All of a sudden, right? Wow, gee whiz. Gee whiz. All of a sudden, they're all talking about it freely. No one's being called crazy. You don't have to be put in a straitjacket. You don't have to be taken to a mental hospital. Right? 20 years ago, if you talked about the UFOs, you would be put in a straitjacket straight to Bellevue, some kind of mental institution. They would consider you on drugs or crazy or mentally not stable. Right? Tinfoil hat and all that other crap. All right, the ridicule, like you would get ridiculed to the oblivion. Um, that wasn't that long ago, right? 20 years ago. Hell, even 15, even in 2006 or 2007, if you talk about UFOs, they will look at you crazy. So, but why all of a sudden now? Why now? Why all of a sudden now they're talking about it? Why now? What's up with that? Well, I'll give you my observation on it. I believe that there's a reason for everything. Someone once told me if they're talking about it, if they're like shoving it in your face every day, if they're, playing those trumpets every day, 24/7, there's a good reason for it. Now, the reason behind it, that's the 1 gigatrillion question. What's the reasoning behind it? Why they're talking about it so much? Now, I have my theories. I have my opinions on it. It doesn't mean that I'm right, nor does it mean I'm wrong. It's just I have my opinions on it. This could be some sort of a preparation for what's to come. Some sort of a false flag or something to, get us into some kind of new phase of something. Whatever that new phase is. I don't want to speculate what that might be, but I think if they're talking about it, if they're talking about this right now, if they're going to do a presentation, if the Pentagon's going to have a full disclosure on this, you know that there's a reason behind it. But let me tell you something. It's definitely nothing that's going to benefit good. Us, poor folk, middle class, the poor bastards. It's not going to benefit us. We're going to be used again. We're going to be pampered. We're going to be indoctrinated. And once again, we're going to buy right into it. Just like we bought right into, giving away our privacy for security, after 9/11, right? Just like we did that. And we did it like that. No questions asked. Spy on me, listen to me, give away my privacy for security. Because there's a boogeyman out there. Boogeyman. Who's always haunting me, looking out to get me. That boogeyman. Gotta have a boogeyman, guys. To achieve something, to get people to agree on something, to get majority of people to agree on something, you gotta have a villain, right? Every comic book, every movie, every TV show, you gotta have a villain. There has to be a boogeyman. We gotta have a boogeyman. We gotta have a villain. And this villain, well, whatever it might be, maybe an aliens from another universe. They're trying out to get us, We all have to unite as a one new world order to fight these aliens. And we all need to have same passports under the same United flags, blah, 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 blah. Again, I'm just speculating, but it's not that difficult to get people to buy into some new way of living. If you tell them, hey, your life is in danger. These things are to get you out at night. Lock your doors. They can walk through the walls. They can pick you up and take you out to the spaceship, and you'll never see your loved ones ever again. They're very sinister creatures. That could be one side of the story. Or it could be another Cold War, that these objects belongs to China or belongs to Iran or Russia or North Korea or some other bullshit, you never know what kind of BS they're gonna sell us or what they're gonna feed us. But whatever it is, there's definitely a reason for it. Like I said, if there was no reason for it, they wouldn't be talking about it. The reason they're talking about it constantly on the news 24/7 is because they're preparing us for something. And the reason the Pentagon's going to disclose the UFO is for that same reason. They're preparing us for that whatever grand master plan that they have. Whatever that grand master plan is, we don't know. That's how they keep us in dark. We don't know. So the first step is to indoctrinate, to work on the fear, right? There's a boogeyman out there. Lock your doors. Be careful. Stack up on the toilet paper. Stack up on the food. Stack up on this. Stack up on that. Buy this, buy that. Be careful out there. There's a boogeyman out there out to get you. The boogeyman. You gotta have a boogeyman. This is the oldest trick of all times, is the boogeyman. Gotta have that boogeyman. Without that boogeyman, you can't do your biddings. You can't have these master plans if you don't have a boogie, man. Look at that lightning. So, that's my whole approach on the whole UFO thing. Have I seen something out in the sky? Yes. Is it ours? I don't know. Is it possible it could be ours? Yeah. 60 years of scientific research from the Project Paperclip, which brought all these scientists from Nazi Germany to Nevada and New Mexico to work, behind the closed doors, to work on a new technology, to build this new technology, right? Who's to say if it is not ours? And who's to say how far we have advanced technologically? It's not like they're going to tell us, right? You see, that's the thing. They never tell you. They're never going to tell you the truth. Here's what people need to understand. And this is the sad part, that majority of people out there, I'm talking about majority. I'm not talking about people listening to this podcast. I know you are smart. I know you're intelligent. I'm talking about majority of people out there. Everyday Joe. Everyday Joe, Schmo, Mary, right? Those types. They're going to believe whatever they're being told. And they're going to buy right into it. They're going to buy right into it, man. Like a good sheep that they are. And they all think that they're being told the truth. But the fact is, they're not being told the truth. You know what I mean? But they believe that they're being told the truth and nothing but the truth. The truth is much more sinister than you would ever think, obviously. And it's not for our benefit. But that's how they're able to achieve their plans. It's by having majority of sheeps dance to the same tune, right? If majority of the people are dancing to the same tune, it is easier for them to do what they need to do to proceed and move forward with whatever grand master plan they have planned. Now, those of us who are woke, those of us who know what's going on, we know that there's something behind this. There's a bigger plan behind this. There's some kind of an interest here to push some kind of a plan, grand master plan. And it's definitely not anything that's going to benefit us. That's what I think. It's definitely not going to benefit us. Do I believe that there's aliens out there on another planets and different galaxies? Of course. Of course they are. But do I also believe that they're so far away that even for them to create such a technology would be the biggest undertaking? Do I believe in that? Yes, I believe in that too. Because if it's a big undertaking for us, it has to be a big undertaking for them as well. You know, unless we're talking about interdimensional beings. Interdimensional. Is that possible? Do interdimensional beings exist? Again, I'm somebody with an open mind. I leave everything out on the table. I would say this. If these beings, if they do exist, they're most likely interdimensional, and they're not sending one of their owns to check on us. They're probably using AI technology, robotic technology, highly advanced robotic technology to enter into our dimension and then disappear into their dimension, collect the data, and check to see what we're doing. Why would they have to put themselves at risk of being captured or something on this planet when they can just send robots just like we do on Mars? It's like, hey, why should we send a human there when we can send a robot, a rover, to see what's the the atmosphere like? Can we breathe there? Is there O2 there? Is there carbon dioxide? Let's just collect the data. Let's just send a robot to do everything for us, and let's collect the data. So why wouldn't they do the same thing? To spy on us and collect the data, and they can do it more efficiently if they are interdimensional beings, if they have that technology. Now, this is just a speculation. All of this, obviously, I don't have any proof to back this up. It's just a theory, But what I'm trying to say is this. Don't expect this report to tell you the truth. When this report comes out about the UFO, don't expect them to tell you the truth. Okay, this is what's really going on. They're going to give you some cooked up version for their agenda, for whatever their grand master plan is. And we already know what their grand master plan is. Their grand master plan is to control the entire planet. To control the entire planet. Power and control. New world order. That's it. They've been pushing that. Man, listen, that's their wet dream. It's their wet dream. It's the biggest wet dream they had. It's that. But that's just my opinion on it. That's just my approach. I could be wrong, But I like to keep an open mind. Unlike Neil Tyson deGrasse, who wants to tell you that he knows everything, etc., etc. So that's how I feel about the UFO. There's a reason for it. They're talking about it all of a sudden. And it's okay to talk about it now all of a sudden, right? 10 years ago, 20 years ago, if you talked about it, they put you in a mental hospital. All of a sudden now, all of you who talked about UFOs, you're being released from mental hospital. You don't have to be on any medications anymore. You can come out. Come on, man. It's anybody with any brain cell can see what's going on here. Unless you are a sheep and you've been indoctrinated to believe in whatever you're being told. Okay. So that's how I feel about the whole UFO thing. What else been going on in the news? Oh yeah. The PlayStation Crush Generation. I already talked about this. PlayStation Crush Gen. Look, I think Sony Sony, not Sony, Sony. I think Sony, it's shooting themselves in the foot by lying and not being honest with community. You know, and I think all of this comes from the one man, and that man, it's the CEO of PlayStation, Jim Ryan. You know, this is all Jim Ryan doing. First, he wanted to remember to shut down the PlayStation 3 store, and then he decided, ooh, it's not a good idea. And then he's the same guy who told you that the reason we're creating a next generation, quotes in the air, quote marks in the air. The reason we are creating a next generation console is because we want you to feel that you are playing something that it feels different from PlayStation 4, and that you're getting the exclusivity of those games for that next generation console. And you can only play them on that next generation console. All of a sudden now, that same BS that Jim Ryan had fed us in September, we have found out that is not the truth. We have found out that it's cross-gen. We also have found out that a bunch of games are going to PC from Sony. Days Gone, it's on PC. Horizon Zero Dawn, it's on PC. God of War will be on PC. You can bet on that. Death Stranding, it's on PC. What else we have on that's on PC? Let me see. Oh yeah, and the MLB The Show, it's part of the Game Pass. Can you believe that? On Xbox Game Pass, MLB The Show 21. While you have to pay $75 if you're a PlayStation owner. Think about that. If you're an Xbox owner, you don't have to pay $75. But if you're a PlayStation owner, you have to pay $75. While the Xbox owners get the MLB The Show included. Look at all of these things that Sony is doing. This is all Jim Ryan, man. I told you about Jim Ryan. I told you he's the one that's destroying the PlayStation. He's really not helping the PlayStation. He's destroying the PlayStation. I'm telling you right now, man. He is destroying it. And what else has he done? Look at the first party exclusive, a Returnal. What a joke that is. $75, 1080p. 1080p, man. You're gonna sell me a next generation console, and you're gonna give me the very first party exclusive IP, a weak IP. That's a roguelike type game with a 1080p resolution on top of paying $75. I mean, this is really not a good time for PlayStation. PlayStation 5 is not sitting pretty right now. And they're already talking about a PlayStation 5 Slim. You know, and people are still having a difficult time getting a hold of PlayStation 5. And now they're still talking about PlayStation 5 Slim. This is all because of Jim Ryan. Remember, guys, he is the one that's causing all of this. This is all of his doing. You know, this is all of his doing. He's the one who's doing all of this. And we bought right into it, man. Every single one of us bought right into it. We believed him, and well, the rest is history. But I knew better not to trust Ryan, Jim Ryan, even Herman Host. I knew better. I should have trusted my instinct. So PlayStation right now, it's not what it used to be. PlayStation 4 was very successful. There's no question about that. PlayStation VR was very successful. PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1. But number 5, it's a downfall. Can't really say that PS5 it's some kind of a success here. If you're looking at it from scalpers' point of view, well then that's a different topic. But in terms of what PlayStation used to stand for, that's not the case anymore. This is a different type of a PlayStation. And this is what happens when you change the CEOs, when you change the crew, the team. When you bring a new team and they screw everything up, this is what happens. This is what you end up with. So that's how I feel about that subject in general about PlayStation. What else is there that's happening right now? That's on the news. Let's see. Oh yeah. A lot of you've been asking me what's my thoughts on the movie cinema and streaming and where it's going to go. Which way is this going to go? That's a good question. Things definitely have changed. Movie cinemas are closing down. AMC has closed down. A bunch of movie theaters have been closed down. They're going out of business because they're not making any money. They're not making the money they're supposed to be making. Why? Because everybody can sit back, relax in the comfort of their home or in the comfort of their home theater home. And look, it's very appealing, right? People can, build their own home theater. Maybe they have an extra garage or something and they want to turn it into a movie theater. People have home theaters and, they love the idea of not getting inside a car, looking for a parking, paying for the parking, fighting the traffic, fighting the crowd, paying all that extra money, to see a movie, popcorn, this and that, right? It's pretty expensive. It can be a $75 experience. It could be very expensive going to a movie theater. And then you got to deal with the crowd and people. Somebody's farting, somebody's joking and saying this, saying that, and you can't concentrate on the movie. You got to go to the bathroom and you missed 15 minutes of a movie or something. And the ability to be able to watch the movie at home, it's very convenient, right? So it's a convenient way of enjoying that movie, right? And I can see why that is appealing to a lot of people. It's like, hey, dude, I don't have to waste money, because you're also wasting gas. You got to drive to that movie theater. You got to pay for parking. You have to pay for the movie tickets for you and your family and everybody. You got to buy drinks and all that other jazz. All that stuff adds to the expenses. When you can simply just kick back, relax at home, and watch the movie, pause the movie, go to take a bathroom break, come back, continue. I think the streaming, it's taking over. I think on-demand streaming, it's taking over. The fact that you can watch the movie how you want, when you want, where you want, it's very appealing to a lot of people instead of driving to a movie theater. Now, seeing a movie in a movie theater, it's definitely the best way to experience a movie. This is why Christopher Nolan wanted you to experience IMAX Tenet, because that's the way the movie is intended to be experienced. Same thing with the Top Gun. The best way for you to experience a Top Gun, it's gonna be in an IMAX theater, right? But things are changed. Things are changing. This is a different time we're living in, and unfortunately, with the HBO Max and PlayStation, HBO Max and Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus will do the same thing with their movies in the future, like Top Gun and Mission Impossible. They're also going to do the same thing with that latest movie that it's already released. They're thinking about putting it out on PlayStation on the Paramount Plus. Why am I calling Paramount Plus PlayStation Plus? HBO Max will open a new door for others like Disney Plus and Paramount Plus to do the same thing. Paramount it's going to follow in the same footsteps, while Disney probably going to do the same thing. And now that you have Disney, Paramount, and HBO Max, well, there really won't be any reason for you to bother going to the movie theater. Like the other day, I saw the Conjuring #3. So it's a brand new movie. I've seen it. It's on HBO Max. I don't have to go to movie theater, get to watch it. So the bottom line is things have changed. Things are changing. And this is the way things are, guys. We'll just have to get used to it. And I think people are already getting used to it. To be quite honest, people are already getting used to it. Because this is the way, unfortunately, this is the way the cookie crumbles. So we are right now at Virginia coast, off of Virginia coast. So it takes about 3 hours. Takes 3 hours to fly from Miami to Virginia. So that's 3 hours. Well, what else is going on the news? I'm trying to think of the topics as I'm doing this flying podcast. Trying to think of. Again, if you guys have any feedback, please let me know. This is all experimental, and your feedback, it's always appreciated. You letting me know, what do you think about this? Should I continue doing these podcasts? Do you guys enjoy this? Do you guys not enjoy this? Your feedback, it's always welcomed. So, keep that in mind. There was something else that was on the news. Oh yeah, the mental health. I talked about that quite a lot. I We should talk about it more. Mental health. It's a very serious issue, guys, and some people are hiding it. They're not showing it. But you shouldn't be doing that, because you're not helping yourself if you're hiding it. There's nothing wrong in asking for help. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of courage and strength, that you're willing to acknowledge that you have a problem that needs to be addressed. So that way you don't hurt anybody in the process whom you don't want to hurt. It's important to talk about it, and I talked about it a lot of times. It's not my first time talking about it. I even did a coffee vlog called The Fragile Mind. Remember, your mind, it's like a ham radio, and I talked about this. It's like think of yourself like an antenna, and you pick up all kinds of frequencies at all times. The good, the bad, the ugly, and then strange, very strange frequencies. And your mind, it's like an antenna. You're scrolling through that radio knob, right? The ham radio knob, and you're picking up these different frequencies. And it's important that you protect yourself from these frequencies, because these frequencies can really influence you to act differently, to think differently, and that's not a good thing. So mental health, it's something that barely anybody talks about, which blows my mind, honestly, that so many people are not talking about this, how important it is that we talk about this issue. Our mental health, mental health can have a huge effect on your well-being, on how you talk to other people, how you approach yourself, how you conduct yourself with other people. And other people will see that, but then other people will not understand what you're going through. Other people will judge you based on your actions, and they're going to classify you based on your actions. They're not going to understand you, nor are they going to want to know to understand you. So this is why you need to help yourself. Talking about it, it's a good way of doing it. Find a good friend whom you can talk about it, somebody who's going to listen to you. You just need to talk to someone. Don't hide it. Don't pretend that everything's okay when you know damn well that it's not. Don't do that. You're not really masking the problem. It's not going to solve the problem. So it's important that you don't mask it. It's important that you just tell everybody, hey, I'm going through this, and people will help you. For the most part, people will help you. Say, okay, I'll talk to you. I'll listen to you. Tell me what you're going through. So I already talked about this previously on my podcast. Like I said, if you talk about it, it's better. If you don't talk about it, well, It just makes it worse. Again, there is no magic pill. I just want to say this. There is no magic pill where you can take and everything's going to be all right. Just take that pill, swallow it, and it's all going to be hunky-dory. There's no such a thing. So that's why it's important that that you talk to somebody about it. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. A lot of people are ashamed of, hey, man, I'm depressed, I'm dealing with this, I have this problem, I have that problem. There's nothing wrong with that, man. Don't be insecure. Don't worry about what the other people are gonna think, dude. If I worried about other people, dude, you would never even know I exist. I would be so insecure. I wouldn't do anything in my life. I would be living in some kind of a bubble because I don't want to be criticized by other people. People will always judge you. You don't have to do anything. You could be just sitting there minding your own business, eating your sandwich. They're going to look at you and say, look at this guy. Look at the way he looks. Look at the way he eats. Look at the way he's dressed. People are going to judge you no matter what. We got 8 billion people on this planet. People will judge you no matter what you do. It's just their nature. It's just a human nature. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean you have to acknowledge every asshole or every bitch out there who's going to judge you? No. Ignore them. Don't give any flying fucks and just continue carrying on with your life. Remember, you live your life for yourself. You're not living your life for somebody else. And they're not living their life for you. They're living their life for themselves. So why give them any oxygen to breathe on? Why do that? So don't do that. Don't live your life based on somebody else's approval. If you are doing that, man, you're not free. You are not free. You are property now of someone else or a bunch of other people. So a bunch of other individuals have a property of you. They own you because you have to satisfy them. You have to please them. And this is the same reason why I never joined Freemasonry. That's the same reason, because I didn't want to be belonged to anybody. I didn't want someone to own me, to tell me what I should do. Okay? This is why you're never going to be free unless you actually live a life for you. Do what you feel is right. It's very simple, man. What about my job? Dude, fuck your job. Quit your job. Turn off that phone. Disconnect that phone. Get in your car. Keep driving to that destination you want to go to. That's it. Shut that phone off. Turn it off. Ignore everybody. Disappear. Go where you want to go. Do what you want to do. Fuck what everybody else is thinking. That's how your mindset should be. And that's the same thing that these other individuals who are successful have done. They didn't listen to anybody. They did their own thing. Okay? One great example, Steve Jobs. Why was he so successful? Because he did his own thing. Even before he passed away, when he spoke in front of the colleges, some university, he was successful not because he lived a life to satisfy somebody else or someone else or some other groups. He did his own thing. And he didn't care what you think of that. He didn't care how you felt about it. He didn't give no flying fucks about what Bill Gates thought, about what this guy thought. No, he didn't care. He did his own thing. And that's why he was so successful. People laughed at him when he said, I'm going to create this phone with a touch screen. And you'll be able to watch movies and everything on it. People say, oh, that's a crazy idea. Nobody wants the phone where they can watch movies on it. Come on. What? Guess what? Super successful. The iPhone was super successful. Was it 2005? It was around the same time YouTube was opened in 2005. And then what else we had? iPad in 2010. Was it 2010 or 2009? I think it was 2010 when the iPad came in. 2010, 11, 12. Yeah, it was 2010 when the iPad came out. And it was very successful. So he became successful because he was not afraid to do his own thing. He didn't care what other people thought about him, you know. And that's how you should live your life, man. Don't worry about what the other people are thinking. You know, you live your life for you. You're not living your life for somebody else. All right, so this will be the end of part number 3. Part number 4 is where we're going to land on Boston Logan Airport. And I think the entire flight's going to be 4 hours. So from Miami to Boston, it's 4-hour flight, which is about right. 4 hours. 4 hours. So you can watch the entire Justice League from Miami to Boston. And then when the movie is finished, the credits are rolling, you are already at Logan, Boston City. Boston is a beautiful city. I love Massachusetts. So let me know, guys, what you think. Give me your feedback. You like this? You don't like this? You know, remember, your feedback, it's appreciated. Let me know if you want me to continue to do this. I'm still experimenting with this. This is something new. I had an idea. I put it out there. And I'm giving it a go. But, you know, if no one's going to watch this, then what's the point, right? If you guys not going to watch this, then what's the point? But at least it'll be a nice little experiment that I'm doing here. Maybe, like I said, these videos will be like a time capsule. They have a life of its own. Maybe 2 years from now, 5 years from now, someone's going to find these videos and maybe they will like it. I don't know. But again, with all that considered, feedback, it's really appreciated. Thank you. Cheers. I'll see you in a part 4. Hopefully I will land safely, properly. So we'll see. Part number 4 coming up. Thank you.